Hello, my name's Keith and I'm known as the Florida Stone Man, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how to treat God. And of course I have to make this video. Funny thing is, I'm going to teach you a secret. When I do that, basically the Holy Spirit is fully taking control of my jaw. Fully. So when they call it tongues, sometimes it doesn't just go to the tongue, it goes to the teeth, the jaw, the whole structure of the throat. So this is going to be an important one. So now you guys know. It tickles too. It tickles like tickles. She smiled. Jesus is very excited about this. The Holy Spirit is very excited about this. Father in heaven is very excited about this. So this is the Most High God, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. One question I do get is, okay, how can God be the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit? It's because humans don't know anything. And I'm saying that respectively. We are so veiled. The body is just a veil to the spirit. So our entire existence is one big veil. So the thing about humans is having two eyes puts us at a very, very great disadvantage. Because we have three eyes. We actually have multiple eyes. If you've seen some of the angels in heaven, they're full of eyes. Many, many eyes. But those eyes, they have eyes inside the eyes. Another accident. Okay. You ever hear an accident? Great. People don't know how to drive. You know what they do in South Florida? They hit and they take off. So you won't see people staying. You'll just see one person stop and one person keep going. But this video is about how to treat God. So humans really do think they know everything, and it's kind of funny. Especially when humans don't do really that much for the knowledge. You know, okay. South Florida has a bunch of renegade people. People will do stuff just to do stuff, let's just say that. But this is a complex video because, of course, you treat God with respect and love. God will answer your wishes, but he's not a genie. You don't talk to God just when you want to. I mean, most people do when they feel like they have to, or they would like something from God. But to expand your relationship with God, let me tell you right now, it's not an easy journey. It's not. If someone were to tell you your relationship with God and that journey is going to be easy, that's a lie. Having a relationship with God that deepens, the closer you get to God, the more you find out how different God is. So one of the most challenging, and I'm going to share my personal journey with God, because even when you look at the Bible with Moses was the closest person to God in the Bible. There's no other prophet like him from the Bible. So Moses being so close to God, there were some scenarios as to where Moses is the closest person to God in the Bible, and he says to God, basically, if you're going to treat me like this, just kill me. And I found that super interesting because people don't know how God works. God is completely unpredictable. He is wildly unpredictable. And this is a good thing for bad people. It's not a good thing for bad people. And this is why I suggest for people to manifest constantly, because everything goes in your favor when you manifest. But if you're constantly waiting for God, remember he created good and evil. So if you're not manifesting, things can start feeling evil. And that's not, people think, oh, when something bad happens, that's just how God works. No, it's because you allowed that to happen based off your beliefs. Or you viewed it as bad versus being something good for you because you're not manifesting something, etc. So God is always good, no matter how crazy or unpredictable God can be. When I mean crazy, God can be nuts. Like absolutely nuts. Even with Moses didn't circumcise himself, and God is like, okay, I'm going to kill you now. I'm just going to kill you now. People miss that part of the Bible. He's like, what do you mean? Okay. And he grabbed the knife and he just cut it off. The foreskin. Okay, not his thing. Moses was not a eunuch. He was not a eunuch. Okay, read the stories in the Bible. I just saw the sun come up. Okay, what the? came up and it disappeared. Okay, back to my story about Moses in the Bible. I'd like you to know that your journey with God will not be easy, but what will make it nice and easy? Control over your mind. Control over your mind. Control over your anger. Control over how you feel. Gratitude. So, like I said, your relationship with God, you treat God with love and respect. And what if you have, and that's the thing, a lot of people will have some kind of resentment with God or towards God. Talk to God about it. Or let's just say someone's mad at God for something. Talk to God about it. And he'll explain it to you. He'll help you out. He'll literally make up for whatever was taken, whatever was lost, whatever you're mad about. And he'll cool it. But a lot of people will just completely just not do that. So it's a relationship. It's a full-fledged relationship. Too often I am seeing, and people don't normally get to that point, too much of what I see is people disrespect God. So people get the help they require from God, then everything gets very, very good after they get help from God, and they take off running. This happens to most people. For example, I'm going to tell you right now, the people who have gotten a custom necklace from Florida Stone Man and won a large cash prize, the lottery, a portion of the lottery, which if you win four out of the five numbers, once people win, they take off. But it's a good thing because that means they got the help that they needed. So that if you ever help someone who needed help and you never hear from them again, it means they're doing really well. But if you hear from them, for example, every single day, every single night, it means they're still learning, etc. So I've had someone particular in the past year. He won, let's just say he won his state prize, and he bolted. I didn't hear from him, see him again. But that's how people do it with God until it runs out. So he didn't run out, but when he requires help, he'll ask for help. And he knows who he is, and this video will remind him, yes, he watches my videos, so hello, you know who you are. I'm not blasting you. Jesus said for me to use you as an example, so I'm going to do exactly what Jesus told me to do. I say some things to people sometimes. It's basically Jesus says, I'd tell this person this right now. And I think to myself, this person is going to scream at me, but I don't care because God told me to say it. So, scream at me then. What you going to do? Something above God? That's the thing. When you're speaking for God, and that's the thing for the people who grow closer to God, and like I said, in my relationship with God, so there's been some major challenges. For example, God told me to walk up to a guy with a dog. And this dude was just some kind of he was just out there. And he said, tell this guy that this is what he needs to fix his life through me. I told him, he picked up his dog and he started running. And I'm like, why would you tell me to do that if that happened? And he says, so basically, Jesus said, so he could have the opportunity before he goes into the afterlife. I'm like, oops. So he couldn't say that no one helped him or told him to come to me and he'd be treated. It sucked. But let's just say God rewards very heavily for it. But you don't do stuff for the reward. You do it because it's good. Now, I'm going to talk about a portion of people who talk to God right now. Let's get back to that example because that was very valuable. People will get the help they require or need from God. And I promise you, once someone has something, most people, it's 99% of the people on this planet, once they have their help from God, it's screw you. Thanks, screw you, goodbye. And it's disgusting. And guess what happens to those people? I can't even tell you how often that happens. And God is used to it. God is long-suffering. He has so much patience. He'll just take it away. And he'll give it to someone. I'm smelling someone's food from far away. Delicious. But it sucks to see. And I talk to Jesus about this very often. I don't know how basically, he says that he has a lot of patience. Jesus says, I am long-suffering, I am very patient, but my patience wears thin. This is not with one human, it's not with two humans, it's 99% of the world. Gets the help that they need from God, doesn't communicate with God afterwards, doesn't really give God the thanks. And Deuteronomy talks about that. When Moses was saying goodbye, he basically said, there will come a time when your harvest gets thick and your gold and your silver and your coins stack up high. and you don't require help from God anymore. You don't. And you will say, I did it. After a certain point, you will not ask God for help like that. And you will basically say to yourself, I did this. This is my own. I did this by myself. I did this. God helped me get here, but I put in most of the work. I really did. That's why so many people downfall. I'm thinking about that right now. People are like, well, look what I did. You didn't do anything. That was all God. You put in effort, and God connected the effort with what you're trying to do. So it's truly disturbing. I encounter a lot of people will make it to being a multi-millionaire through Jesus, and then just be like, you know what, screw you. They don't say screw you, but their actions say screw you. I'm going to tell you something right now. Your words don't count like that. They do, but they don't. You can say to God, thank you for your help, and your actions insult God. That's worse than your words sometimes. You can say, okay, I'm mad at you, versus you break a door down. So, in essence, you guys have to treat God with reverence and respect, and you have to know God has feelings. Jesus has feelings. He was born man. So, when God helps you out, God will help you guys. And once you get the help, once you get your blessings, you're like, oh, you really helped me win the lottery. I didn't really think that was going to happen, but I actually won the lottery. That actually happened. And sometimes it'll happen to people 2 times in a row. It's very easy. If you know how easy it was, there's a trick to it that Jesus can tell you. But people will learn that through Jesus. There's an easy trick to winning the lottery. I'm not even joking. Once you learn that from Jesus, you know what happens? People are like, you know what? I don't really need your help anymore. Thanks. I'll talk to you here and there, but I don't need you anymore. I thank you. You got me to where I needed to be. Thanks. Goodbye. Why would you ever treat God like that? Why would you ever do God like that? Does God not have feelings? Do you not know that God controls everything? Do you not know how major God is, but how small? Let me talk to you about God right now. Jesus will play small. I have to say, that's the scariest thing about Jesus. If you don't know the scariest thing about God, it's how small he can play. He can pretend to be an ant. I'm promising you this. That's the thing. He can pretend to be an ant. He'll let you think that you're much bigger. He'll let you think that. And when that ant bites you and you die from dysentery, or die from sepsis from an ant bite, you're like, it was a black ant. It's like, how did that happen? It's like, you forget who God is. I see people think that they can get away with stuff, and like, well, I don't even live a lifestyle that's that dangerous. I can do whatever I want, and I can go around God. And they try to make God mad, and they don't. People think they could leave the house or stay underground in a bunker, and it protects them from God. Yeah, and drink some water that wasn't really right then. So basically, you should know that God can do whatever, whenever he wants. Sometimes he'll just have you prove yourself to him. But how you should treat God is with love and respect and dignity, and understanding he has feelings. What happens if you're mad with God, or if let's just say you're not mad at God, but you're mad about something that happened between you and God? Talk about it. Just flat out talk about it. He'll understand. He'll flat out understand it. It will happen to everyone, or has happened to everyone at some point. But once you move past that in your relationship becomes stronger. A lot of people will just abandon God. Good 90% of people, when something goes wrong, they'll just say, okay, I'll serve a different God. Goodbye. I don't care how big you are. People will do that. And it will be their downfall. Versus, if you're not happy about something with God, you can talk to him about it. Just like Moses did. Just like a whole bunch of people did throughout the Bible. And there's a high chance, since let's just say you're at a position where you're not happy with God, there's a very high chance he understands how you feel. He can empath you. Remember, God made empaths. He is the master empath. So when you feel this hurt from God, a lot of people don't know that he'll understand more than anything. So when you're mad at him, he understands, and he usually gives you more based off of how you feel. But the thing is, you have to understand your relationship with God is something you'll have to fight for. But if you treat God like crap and you just walk, if you're if you're someone who would just treat a friend really badly, and you treat God really badly, and you treat a family member really badly, he's gonna let yourself be your downfall. And it's unfortunate. So this video reminds you, treat God with love and respect. Like, I do not know what's wrong with some people. I really, really, really don't know what's wrong with some people. I'm gonna say right now, and Jesus does give me an ability to be able to help people when they pray. Not like an angel, because an angel's an angel. I'm just a human. I am a human. I promise. Basically, treat God with love and respect. If you have an issue about something with God, or if you feel like God wronged you, the thing is, God can wrong you guys sometimes, just so he can give you more. And that's one of the most disturbing things. But when that happens, my biggest suggestion is you focus on gratitude. Act like he didn't wrong you. So sometimes God will do something really bad to you just so he can give you something more. And that freaks people out. But you have to know, there's something called a balance. God makes a balance. If everything in your life is overly balanced, how is he going to fix a balance? He's going to have an enemy do something with you, or he's going to have someone make you their enemy, or let's just say he's going to have something that it doesn't overly affect you, but something like that, it happens and you're like, God, I thought you had my back. Versus he did, but he needed that to happen. He required that to happen for him to be like, okay. So I'm going to give you an example. Way back there when I did bracelet sales or whatever, and I used to sell some in public, people would try to steal them, and one person did with Blue Tiger Eye, and I'm like, I thought you had my back. Like, what happened? And he's like, and I'm like, you let that happen? He's like, yeah, I did. I'm like, why would you let that happen? I was really frustrated. It's like, because I know more than you do. And I was really frustrated about it. I'm like, I released the frustrations. I'm like, you know what? Whatever. I understand you know more than I do. Whatever. He let that particular happen with something else. So I stopped going out into those areas and whatnot. And it's sometimes he can make it stack up. Oh my Lord, the Holy Spirit just got bigger in front of me. Holy moly. Good Lord. I don't know if anyone saw that, but she just went like that. But she's like, yeah. She's excited about this part of the video. Whoa. But basically, he gives you more based off of an imbalance being created. So let's just say, can I talk about the secret? So for example, if you give someone, a homeless person, if you give them $10, you made an imbalance there because you gave a portion of yourself to the homeless person. So that's why a blessing comes in afterwards. It's called sowing a seed. You give $500, you might just end up in $1 million. But do it from the how good in your heart is. What if you don't see that $1 million come back right away? It could take a year. Time is not real, so it could take a year. But sometimes God will let things accumulate so he can give you a large blessing all at once. Last example of the Bible, Joseph. So Joseph, and I'm not mixing up anyone's name. So Joseph basically ended up a slave. And yes, I have the right name. I have the right name. My mind mixes up Bible names. So Joseph basically ended up a slave. Remember the story of basically master's wife tried to sleep with him, and then she accused him of trying to defile her? And all these his whole life just sucked. He served God so faithfully. His whole life sucked. God let all these crazy bad things happen to him, and he focused on gratitude. This is Genesis. And it's just, the thing is, he could have picked the perspective. It's like, okay, you know what? God, if you're not going to help me, then goodbye. I won't serve you anymore. Versus, I believe you have a divine plan for me. And he hurt, and it sucked for him. But guess what? God waited for him to accumulate a certain level of imbalance to help him get to a point where God just said, I'm giving you the entire world. Now you're in charge. And boom, he's with Pharaoh. He elevated his entire family. So with your relationship with God, if something happens, it's because he's doing something for you. Once you get to that point of success, and it's not even just tests, you have tests every day. Once you get to a point of success, remember that God is the one who helped you get there. Most people will take off, like, thanks, I don't need you anymore. So the whole point of this video is love and respect God. Treat God with respect. Understand that anything that God's doing for you is beneficial for you. Do you know how a blessing can come to you? Out of nowhere. Should I talk about the time where I was downtown? Oh, I'm not going to say where. And I seen hundreds blow at me in the wind. I remember I was a kid. I started crying. I'm like, what the $100 bills blowing to me in the wind? And I was like, I was crying. I'm like, I can't take this. But just hundreds. And it just came out of thin air. I'm like, and God showed me how he could work. I'm like, what the? And after that, I saw hundreds on the ground everywhere I went. I had people just walking up to me. You know what? I feel like this belongs to you. I'm going to invest in you. And I'm like, I don't even know these people. I'm like, as a kid. So there's no excuse. I mean, this is how God can work through anything. It depends on your faith. You put your faith in God and you work on your relationship and you're going to do very well. If you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Ciao. God bless all of you.